Welcome to the best of this weekend's chats on Cricket Connected. This weekend, I was joined by England off-spinner Graeme Swann and former India all-rounder Irfan Pathan, and the chats were all around epic ICC World Cup finals. 2019 was top on our agenda, but we also discussed the T20 2007 World Cup final and not to forget the 2002 NatWest final as well. Time to introduce my guest. There is someone who's making a grand debut on Cricket Connected. Irfan Pathan is a known face here on the show, but Graeme Swann joining us all the way from Nottingham, and he's made it very clear with his outfit. Expect a few witty ones.
This is a completely different, this is a fitness brand, and I didn't buy it myself. Trust me, someone sent it to me because I'm not fit. Not like Irfan Pathan. I'm not fit.
He might be a better dancer than Irfan Pathan though.
Well, good to have you on the show. Welcome to Cricket Connected. As far as Irfan Pathan's concerned, interesting choice of that curtain color, Irfan.
I'm not going to say whose room is that because if the person who owns this room comes to know, I'll be there. That's my sister's room.
Irfan, we always fondly remember this NatWest final. We almost slot it in the same way we talk about the 2007 T20 World Cup, 2011, 2013 Champions Trophy. Right. Why is this result still so close to our hearts?
Look, what happened before that? England came and they did really well against us in our home turf. And I think when we went back to England, a lot of people didn't give that Indian team a chance to go abroad and start winning matches. Forget about the series. So here we are winning the series, not only the one particular match. So I think that's why it makes such a big impact, not only to the era of that time, but even now when we look back, we still find that memory so fresh in our head. But at the same time, it is very close to our heart because it made us believe that we can go out there and win anywhere in the world. And I think that was a time the Indian cricket was changing. That was not only good guys playing cricket, but there were guys who were there to compete, not only to compete, but to win as well. And I think that's why it just makes it even more special. And I think after that, we were not only the guys who were just used to listen to someone say something to us, we were giving back as well. So I think that would make really, really special that victory.
Yeah, I think also the fact that India had lost 9 one-day tournament finals before that. And this in many ways was probably the spark plug that ignited the engine. But Swanny, your reaction? I mean, for us, Saurav Ganguly with that celebration didn't just give it back to Andrew Flintoff, but issued a statement from the balcony. What was it like for a proper Englishman to see that happen at the Lord's balcony?
I thought it was funny myself. I didn't know Saurav at that time, but now I know him. It's so out of character for him as well because he's got a quiet spoken, I knew he was a passionate cricketer, but for that celebration, I love things like that, just quietly. Funny things like that in cricket make me laugh out loud.
Well, speaking of celebration, the gentleman on our screen, Graeme Swann. Swanny, could you sprinkle us with some visuals? Irfan, I'm guessing your favorite celebration also has an Australia connect, right? Not Adelaide. Let me take you to Perth. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. And I'm sure in that Perth stadium, a lot of crowd, the Australian Aussie supporters heard me as well.
This week, hashtag throwbacks to the 14th of July 2019 were trending on every platform. And why not? It was the greatest ever World Cup final. The world was still a normal place back then, but everything that happened at Lord's that day was far from normal. How does a World Cup final get into a super over? Glad to know that the year on, at least the nails have grown back. Because that day,
I tell you, I still can't watch it. We lost that game about 10 times and managed to somehow get back into it. And now we've got it still makes me nervous to watch it.
There's also just a little sense of apology that you could see on Ben Stokes' face. How did you react to it?
I was up in the media centre at Lord's. I think I jumped about 6 foot in the air. I punched the air. I then ran and had a big hug with Jimmy Anderson. If that ball hadn't gone for 6, England were not. It wasn't going to happen. That was it. That was game over. And the very fact that a New Zealander in Ben Stokes, born and bred in New Zealand, diving in, coming off the back of his bat. It was a freak honestly, it was written in the stars that was going to happen, because there will never be a game with so much drama and so much packed into it that all went in England's favour. Let's face it, nothing went the way of the Kiwis by the end of that game. Yeah, but I remember being very, very amazed and excited and thinking, why did this never happen when I played?
Right, gentlemen, the match is tied in regulation time and it now heads into a super over. And what happens next? Another tie! Swann, was crazy for everybody. We were on the field and all the stewards who always, are only looking at the fans and following their duties, they all just started partying. No one cared it was Lords. It was obviously celebration time.
And then I don't remember doing anything after that. I packed up my things and left the ground. I couldn't be a part of it. I was almost a bit overwhelmed by it. And I just remember thinking, I'll walk back to my hotel and I'll just calm down on the way. I'll walk through the beautiful Regent's Park, which is a lovely park where London Zoo is. It turns out it was a 4.5-mile walk. I didn't realise this at the time. I'd only ever been in a taxi. It took me 2.5 hours. And so all I remember of that day is sort of floating through London, seeing all these wonderful buildings and everything, thinking, we've actually just won a World Cup. That is crazy.
A year later, Irfan, when you watch that game, when you watch the highlights, you see a packed Lords, and now we have to imagine and watch cricket without a single spectator. Does that just sort of tell you the importance of that occasion? Just small things that maybe now we realize how much they really mattered.
Yeah, absolutely. Things have, changed big time now, Jatin. Last time we were doing commentary from the studio. I remember, doing it with you and seeing that so many people there in the studio itself. Forget about the ground. Ground was electric. As Swann said, that he couldn't be there for a long period of time because he was overwhelmed. So now obviously things have changed. Now we appreciate it even more. And I just can't wait the live cricket to be continued for a long period of time. And obviously, even if it's with the change of the rules, less crowd, no crowd, but the live cricket has to go on.
Irfan, speaking of close finishes, 2007 doesn't really get bigger and better than that for Indian fans. You were on the field. Now, where were you when you saw that MSD is going to handle the ball to Joginder Sharma, and your reaction when Misbah hit him for a 6 first?
I was very clear in my head that it has to go to Joginder Sharma's hand because all the bowlers were finished. My 4 overs were finished. RP Singh was bowling really well. His 4 overs were finished. Harbhajan Singh had an off day. He had a wonderful World Cup, but because Misbah played really well to Harbhajan Singh, everyone thought that the only option left was Joginder Sharma. And when he hit for 6, oh boy, I just couldn't believe it. I thought the game is gone. And then he played that sweep shot. If you notice, Srishant was wobbling when he was trying because it was so much pressure there. The World Cup written on it, but finally he caught it, and I couldn't believe in myself, the team, that we won that World Cup, which was first time in the history. No matter how many World Cup anyone wins in the future, this Indian team will be very, very special because the World Cup was happening for the first time and we won that.
Just a moment, Swanny, that he spoke about. Ben Stokes might felt the same when he won England the World Cup, because 2016, Carlos Brathwaite's brute force might have subjected him to one of his lowest points in his life, maybe not just career.
I forget that was a World T20 final, West Indies versus England, when Ben Stokes got hit for 4 sixes in the last over. The difference between that England team then, or Ben Stokes and Owen Morgan especially, and then the World Cup win from last year, the maturity of Owen Morgan as captain and Ben Stokes. In 2016, when that first 6 got hit, they needed, 24 to win or 23 to win or whatever. When the first 6 got hit, the captain and bowler would get together and just say, hey, come on, it's not going to happen. They're not going to hit you for 3 more. Bowl a wide Yorker, bowl a slow ball bouncer, just anything, just don't put it in the slot. Okay, and you walk away. And then the next one got hit. Then you go, hey, come on, think about it. And I don't think that would ever happen again. But at the time, 2016, it was still a young captain in Owen Morgan, still a very wide-eyed, frightened Ben Stokes thinking, oh my God, this can't actually happen. I remember watching that in my front room, in the room next to where I am now, sat in front of the TV. It started off with a cat on my lap. And after the ball 1, the cat's claws were in my leg because I was squeezing it. After ball 2, the cat flew out the window and never came back. Thought, I'm not having this. And by the end, I was tearing my hair out. I was throwing things at the TV going, come on, bowl a Yorker, bowl a slower ball, bowl a wide ball, anything, come on. thankfully, probably because he went through that with the ball that time, he was able to maintain his composure with a bat last year. So finals are a strange thing. They're strange occasions. Some people rise and play unbelievably well, and some people do the craziest things. And sometimes it works in your favour and sometimes not.